Chiwenga steps down. After 6 years at the helm of Miss World Zimbabwe, Mary Chiwenga has stepped down from organizing the pageant, and now the question is what next for the pageant. The chapter is closed for Chiwenga as she revealed at the weekend that she has handed over power to run the pageant to a 9-member Miss Zimbabwe Trust Board from now on, although she still holds the Miss World Zimbabwe license. According to Ms. Zimbabwe Trust spokesperson Tendai Chira, preparations are now afoot to hold the pageant this year, details on when to be released soon. As the statement said that the dates will be set soon, so that's where we are as the pageant. Perhaps by the end of this week we shall know when the pageant will be held, said Chira. He added that the names of the 9-member committee to organize the pageant were going to be released. What we're going to do is when we release the information about the pageant and all, we shall also release the names of who is who in the committee. And again, this will happen by the end of this week, said Chira said. Looking back, Chiwenga, who is a former model, has been able to hold Miss World Zimbabwe and send representatives to the Miss World finals. Under the guidance of Chiwenga, Miss Zimbabwe queens have worked with cancer patients, people living with albinism, and made an intervention in Dama, Mashonaland Central. Last year's Queen Chidza Mazva donated $10,000 to help purchase sanitary pads for female villagers. During her tenure, Chiwenga, who is also the wife of Vice President General Constantino Chiwenga, retired, tried her best to bring dignity to the pageant that had been riddled with controversies in the past. Having a knack for pulling in sponsors for the event has been one of the attributes that Chiwenga has executed well throughout her tenure. A heavy corporate presence was synonymous with the pageant, since she took over in 2012, showing that she brought confidence to business. This was after she rebranded the pageant for 2 years before the first contest was held in 2014. Winners left with hefty prize monies, and this for some made participating in the pageant worthwhile and created a mini buzz in the modeling industry. In her first pageant in 2014, after taking over from the late Kiki DeVries 2 years prior, Chiwenga organized a show-stopping event that was unforgettable, a first of its kind in a long time. As with any Miss World Zimbabwe pageant, it was the aftermath of the contest that was riddled with controversies. Thabiso Fury on that night was crowned the queen, and the whole nation fell in love with her. However, barely a month after she was crowned, Fury stepped down amid unclear circumstances, with allegations thrown left, right and center, all which until this day remain unsubstantiated. Thereafter, Catherine Makaya took over during a mini pageant in Harare, and her reign did not last long as she was dethroned for being a rebel. The next year there was a dethronement when the Queen Emily Kakut was stripped of her crown after media reports that there were nudes of her circulating on social media. It was a back-and-forth scenario with accusations and counter-accusations from both parties, but at the end of the day, Kakut's first Princess Annie Grace Mutambu took over and represented the country. What Chiwenga brought to the table was how things should be done when organizing a beauty pageant. She came up with a roadmap, a template that her successors, the 9-member committee, can use to improve what she laid out when she took over 6 years ago. What is left to see is what Miss Zimbabwe Trust has in store for the country this year.